This forecast update effective around 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday, November 22nd, 2013. And guys, start you off over here in Southern California with an area of low pressure. This is going to be the catalyst that kicks off the forecast for the next week. And this forecast is one that everyone should pay close attention to during the forecast period, as chances for an extreme event for portions of the United States are beginning to increase. Hate to sound like a broken record, but this is the time of year that extreme events can and do happen. This process is repeated in around the month of March as we go from winter to spring. So, we've talked about it in our forecast for weeks now and posted that we were entering an active phase at the end of October. And if you think about it, in the last 2 weeks, we've had the typhoon in the Philippines. We've had the recent severe tornado outbreak, 2 major swell events in the Atlantic, one behind Tropical Storm Melissa, and one occurring right now with the current North Atlantic storm. Seas maxed out yesterday at 31 feet and currently down to 25 feet as of this morning in northwest swell. That's going to propagate a 16 to 18 second swell period over the next 72 hours or so towards Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, and all the way over to Western Africa. So lots of activity, and we are definitely in an active phase. But what you're looking at is what could ultimately be a possible historic winter storm this weekend in the Southwest, and ultimately could end up becoming a blizzard for the Northeast during Thanksgiving. Now, that's on the extreme side, and there's going to be lots of time to watch this, so that's why we're encouraging you to stay tuned to the forecast. But needless to say, the pattern is full, and although it looked like we were going to be heading for a slowdown and a pattern shift, recent model runs continue trending on a very active phase coming. So here's what it looks like to start you off. Again, we've got this area of low pressure in Southern California that's spinning in here in a counterclockwise fashion, pushing in Pacific moisture into the Southwest states. Now that is matched up with some cold Arctic air, and we're getting ready to see a lot of snowfall, or the potential for a lot of snowfall in the Four Corners here, moving over towards western Texas coming up. So that's something that everyone should want to pay attention to if you live out that way. And when we put it into motion for you, you can see that the low pressure is spinning here counterclockwise and moving in Pacific moisture into the Four Corners currently. It looks like the area of low pressure is kind of stalled a minute, but it's forecast to move off towards Texas, and we'll show you that via weatherstreet.com in their animation map. Now, this starts you off on Friday. Again, the area of low pressure is right in here. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but right in here over South California, and when we put it into motion for you, you'll see it starts to move off towards the east, towards Texas, and that's when it mixes with that cold air right in there, and that's when we see the heavy snowfall, which would be Saturday into Sunday morning. And as you can see, as we get towards Monday, it starts to fizzle out a little bit, but we're going to be looking for an area of low pressure to begin to develop along the Texas-Mexico border in the Gulf of Mexico. This surface area of low pressure is forecast to move through the southeast states up towards the mid-Atlantic and then possibly up into the northeast as a blizzard. Now, it would be really, really strange to see us go through the whole entire tropical Atlantic hurricane season without a major system impacting the U.S., only to get to the last week of hurricane season and see an extreme storm develop here. Again, another reason why we're asking you to pay attention to the forecast. Guys, this is the time of year that this stuff can happen. Taking a closer look at the infrared satellite loops of the Gulf of Mexico, now you can see it from a reverse angle. You see the area of low pressure spinning in here of Southern California, pushing in Pacific moisture. Again, as this line of convection begins to get pushed off towards the east, we're going to be looking towards the end of the weekend for an area of low pressure to start to develop here and move into the Gulf of Mexico. We're going to show you that in the latest GFS U.S. model run. This is starting you off on Sunday, and if you look down over here towards the Bay of Campeche, you can see an area of low pressure starting to pop up here. Tight pressure gradient out of the northeast, winds gusting probably 25 to 30 knots along the coast, and another northwest pushing in here on what's already developed in the storm from that North Atlantic storm that's in here. When we get into Tuesday, you can see that the area of low pressure now is deepening in here just south of Texas. So we'll back it up to Sunday, and then Tuesday you can see how it moves up north towards Texas. Mind you, there's going to be some more runs. When we get into Wednesday, you can see now that the center of the area of low pressure is now moving over the panhandle. And when we get into Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, we now have a deepening area of low pressure off the mid-Atlantic states in here. That's some strong gusty northeast winds coming back on the backside of that and filtering all the way down back in here towards the Gulf of Mexico, down in here towards the Bay of Campeche. When we move you out to Thursday afternoon, you can see that the pressure gradient has really super tight up in here, just to the northeast of New England. The wraparound back behind here, pulling down cold air along the east coast of the United States. We'll put this into motion for you and let the model run, the loop run. And as you can see, starting on Sunday, an area of low pressure developing in here in the Bay of Campeche, moving up towards Texas, across the southeast, towards the mid-Atlantic, and then bombing out over the northeast states. Now, mind you guys, this is going to be more changes in the models over the next 72 hours, but the model, especially the GFS, continues on being aggressive that a coastal storm at least is going to develop in the forecast period. That's all we got for you now, guys. Stay tuned for the next update.